Are we live?
That's what it
Are we live? You're here this week to keep me in check.
Right.
And I got Ethan here to not keep me in check. Let me get my list of jokes out. Watching John catch his pearls. I didn't talk to him earlier. How long are we going to let this play? We'll let that fade out. Hey, Ethan, thank you for joining us.
Hi, Ethan.
Always a pleasure.
Hi,
Shabbat
Long
shalom.
time.
Yeah, give me a
Shabbat
second here. Go ahead. You guys talk while I got to remove.
Talk
the
amongst ourselves.
Well, this is the
Ethan?
Burning River Browns Talk. It's Friday. It's 9:00. You're on the Fanatical Elves Network, which is a subsidiary of the Fans First Sports Network. I am Lou Marconi at lmarconi251 on Instagram, at lmarconi1973 on X. I am joined by my DJF and my ESJ. Right. Sherry at Browns Fan Girl. Thank you for joining me. And also a special guest who's going to join us tonight in our usual rant. It's going to be Ethan Greenberg. And what's your Twitter handle again?
Green 4325. Doherty to Price. It was really
Doherty
Price
to Price.
Doherty, but
It's okay.
it flowed better. The
4325.
435 as opposed to 2543. So
Right.
Yeah.
that was a
4325.
decision I made when I was like a teenager,
Awesome.
and I've always stuck with it. The AIM name sticks. The
Good.
AIM
Cool.
Oh,
Well, thanks for joining us, man. Now, you can check out his stuff. You're on Going Nuclear.
Yep, at Going Nuclear CLE, at TBDGPITL, the best doggone podcast in the land. Also here on the Fanatical Elves Network. Lou, isn't it amazing, Sherry, that as well, that all of our podcasts, you guys can go and find this show. You can find the best doggone podcast in the land, Going Nuclear, all that sort of stuff on the
Stirring
Fanatical
the
Elves Network
pot?
is on Odyssey. You
I'm
can
on
go
Stirring the Pot.
on your Spotify, et cetera, Apple
Love me some
Podcasts. You can find us
Spotify.
there. So if you don't have time to sit and watch us and our antics, you can listen to our antics later on. There
Listen
it
to
is.
our bullshit.
Bingo.
No, let me just say this. Hey, yeah, check us out. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, everywhere you use your podcast. Listen to us. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. Like, share, subscribe, follow all of us on socials. We're there, and we're ready to listen to you rant. This is a Cleveland sports talk show, more specifically more about the Browns. And there's a lot of Brown stuff that's going on. Actually, Sherry's so sick of talking about one subject that we're going to bring up.
And we already got a comment that you're going to have to be in charge of because of the StreamYard update and
All right,
everybody
that's
being
rant-
kicked
that's
out
the
of
rant- That is the rant of the day to start us out.
the StreamYard nonsense.
This stream,
Yeah, I'm going to have to police the comments too, just so you know.
Eric. Thank you, Eric. Go
Yeah, yeah.
Panthers. Go Cats. Woo.
Eric in Royalton. I'm guessing that's
That's my
North Royalton.
friend.
Thank you, Eric.
there you go. There you go.
Thoughts on QB situation?
We got
I'm real,
four
I
of
feel
them.
I feel a lot better than we were 4 months ago. I would say I feel pretty good. I mean, I feel better. I feel like they're gonna roll out who they have. You're gonna see Shador and Gabriel play.
Mhm.
You're gonna see Sanders and Gabriel play quite a bit this year to figure out what they have. We know what we got with Pickett. We know what we got with Flacco. Let's figure out what the other two and what the future might be. What do you say, Ethan?
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Whether I said this maybe I was saying it the other night when we were with you and I and John
Maybe.
and Joel. So if I did, I apologize.
It's okay.
I'll
You can
keep
say
myself.
whatever you want, man. I don't care.
But the fact of the matter is, Kenny Pickett, if he does well, he's not going to be here next year anyway, because we declined his option. We can't afford to pay him a lot. Joe Flacco is 40 plus years old. He's here for a year. Now, the thing is, eventually, ultimately, the best thing that would be is if either Flacco or Pickett has a Sam Darnold season, right?
Right.
And we don't
There's
see the
that.
rookies.
Mhm.
And we don't see the rookies. They're just going to have to judge these guys based upon what they're doing in practice. We are talking about
practice.
Yeah, we're talking about practice. I mean, it may not get us to the playoffs.
The playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs?
He's got his own soundboard.
We're talking about
We talking about practice. Not
and
Allen Iverson's awesome.
He is. He's amazing. And then if you really get down to it, we might have to do it impromptu. In fact, we may have to do it.
Do it live.
We may have to do it live. No,
Wow.
seriously though.
Yeah, Eric, we agree.
I'd like
Let's
to
see the young guys
young
play.
fellas. I'd like to see them get a few reps in. What's wrong with that?
Okay. You know what they need to do? I don't want it to be
Preseason.
as a default. I don't want it to be because everybody's injured. I don't want it to be because the other guys stink. I want Sanders or Gabriel to go out and take the job by the cojones. Take it by the cojones and win the job. Do what Russell Wilson did in Seattle when he wasn't supposed to be the starter. They went out and paid Matt Flynn as a free agent. And Russell Wilson was drafted in, I think, the 3rd round, and he went in and he won the job. So you won the job. That's how I want you to get it. I don't want you to get it because everybody else stinks and the season's down the crapper. That would be a great scenario so that we don't have to use a 1st-round pick next year on a quarterback. I'm kind of, I don't know.
Hope not. Well,
I don't
if
even want to
Shador,
think about that yet. Can we not
If
even
Shad-
like talk about that? Because can we just
Well, if
like,
Shador is
focus
the
on
real
what
deal,
is
we'll
the
know.
near future? Yeah.
If
Like,
either
can we
one of them is
more
the
so
real
focus-
deal, we'll know. They need
Yeah.
to show it in practice. That's the bottom
Right.
line. And we won't know what's going on there for sure because someone is going to say that the guy had nice zip. The other guy's
Mhm.
going to say that he was a little bit better. And the whole internet, social media world is going to lose their ever-loving mind.
Well,
They
that
already
happens
have.
no matter
They-
what.
They
though.
already have. I
That
mean,
happens no matter what. I
these
mean,
people are not
the-
mentally stable, guys.
the
They're just
chosen, the most chosen of all quarterbacks could be drafted, and still there would be angst and discord because there'll be some
Hmm.
nonsensical narrative that'll be brought up because this person is not good enough to lead
Caleb
anything.
Downs at safety would be
Yeah.
nice. Caleb Downs at safety would be nice.
Exactly.
Wow.
If you can see that you have the quarterback solution this year,
With either Gabriel or Shador, either one.
Right.
I want them to succeed.
that would be the
I want
best.
them to succeed.
Me-
Either one. Cool. We
Sure,
got the guy.
Absolutely.
Just win.
No
I
doubt.
we love the Browns, right? We
Mhm.
all
Yeah,
love
that's the
Browns.
point.
wanna
We
win.
love the
I don't
Browns.
care. That's what drives me absolutely insane are all the people who have an agenda. And they're like, if this person wins, I'm going to be a miserable piece of you know what.
Dude,
It's crazy.
Yeah, Amber, you're right. He's not a long term. I don't think they're expecting Flacco to start all 17
Sure.
games. He's here as a veteran presence and to help. That's what he's here. But we appreciate it, Amber. Thanks for the comments, guys.
Yep.
Yeah, and if we could use those 2 first-round picks next year, and I am rooting for Jacksonville to lose.
Oh yeah. Starting well, we'll be rooting
Well,
hard.
did you see that Trevor Lawrence did have shoulder surgery in this offseason?
Right, but I mean, I don't think it was anything of major consequence. He's all
It's
good.
just- I'm still just boogie boogie. boogie.
Oh, yeah, no. Oogade boogade.
Boogity boogity. Hoogity boogity. Great googly moogly.
Exactly. No, I think that again, it would be the best case scenario is if we know that we've got our quarterback for next year and they can use those 2 first-round picks on some very talented players. There are certainly some holes to fill still on
We'll
this
find out.
roster.
You
Yep,
got to play these guys in games to really know. I mean, that's
Exactly. And everybody, we talked again, we may have discussed this on Wednesday night, but as you look at the schedule, I refuse to sit there and try and figure out what their record's going to be because I
Yes.
don't know.
I hate that so much.
Well, I've made the mistake. I get sucked in, but I'm going to wait. Talk to me after the preseason and I
Sure.
see how
Mhm.
things shake out with other teams and injuries.
How our running game looks, how our
Right,
offense
exactly.
looks. Yeah.
Joel Batonio was on the next level with Emmett Golden and Gerard Cherry and Nick Paulus
Okay.
this afternoon on ESPN 850.
Okay.
And he was talking about what they've been doing and some of the things exciting. And he said talking to the players and they've been and something about watching film. And essentially he referenced watching film from like 2020, 2021, etc. Furthering the whole not the notion, but they're
Thank
going
you,
back
Amber. Yeah, that's
prior-
cool. Good take.
Yeah, Amber.
Right. I think going back to the Kevin Stefanski style of offense, running the ball, the wide zone scheme, etc., as opposed to what we saw last year, and that's going to be very beneficial. I think if the Browns want to be successful, one of the biggest things they can do is use the running game, control the ball, don't turn it over, have long, extended drives, and keep the other team on its heels. We've got smash and dash. We've got smash and dash in the backfield and 2 good tight ends.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Yep. The other thing too, I think it just by not turning it over in our side of the field, putting our defense in a tough position all the time, hitting those pick sixes, that's what killed us. We had shitty quarterback play last year for the most part.
Oh, yeah.
We had good or decent quarterback play. We were competitive. We were right there. So
Yeah, definitely. And the problem was, like, Winston was so much of a turnover machine. He was useless, and we knew that.
Yeah.
And basically, you saw that.
that's right, Mike. You did.
Yeah, he did. You saw DTR. We got everybody
Brian.
who wanted to see him. You
Hey,
got to
Brian.
see him in all of his glory. All of his glory. Don't throw, run. That's it. What is it? Don't throw, run. That was DTR.
DTR. Well,
God.
I mean,
He was a
his
pencil.
initials.
He was a pencil thin. He was a twig.
I
I don't.
needed to hit leg day a little harder for sure.
But I mean, that's his body type, and it is what it is. And he was a 5th rounder for a reason.
Yeah.
It was okay. I think that the difference. Let's talk about this actually. Shedeur Sanders 5th round versus DTR 5th round. I think there's a vast difference between those 2 5th rounders. Which one of these is not like the other one? Which one of these does not belong?
I feel like it's fairly obvious.
Well,
You know,
I mean,
and
Shedeur Sanders was considered a first-round talent, and we got
first
him
or
in the
second
5th round.
Yeah, he was a 1st or 2nd rounder.
Mhm.
And he slid down the draft board. But did you also hear his guy Boog, when he was on? I think with the guys like with Rizzo and Hammer on the Really Big Show a couple of weeks ago. I'm pretty certain he essentially was saying,
Yes,
Technically,
Amber.
technically.
You're right, Amber.
Yeah, true. But go ahead. What were you saying, Ethan? Sorry.
I think that essentially he was saying they knew that they were going to be falling down the draft board. And, because they had the draft part, like a party at his house in, Texas. They were aware that he was going to be falling. They didn't know how far, but they knew. So
What tipped them off?
I think they just probably had an idea from all their meetings with with the different organizations. I think
Okay.
they've got in, but I listened to that and I'm like, that's interesting. I think so. They had a notion. They had a pretty good idea. So,
Will Howard
hey,
won a national championship with Ohio State, and he fell to the 6th round. So, I mean,
right. I think that I thought he would have been like about a 4th rounder or something, a little bit higher up. I was surprised. Kyle McCord went before him. What?
Tyler Shook went to the Saints. He sucks. He sucks. I will say it on here. He sucks.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
terrible.
How many years did he go to college? How many injuries did he have? He played one.
What was that in Animal House? After 7 years of college, they throw us out.
7 years.
Fat truck is no way to go through life. Mr. Blutarski.
0.0. He did some digging of quarterbacks last 3 seasons. Teams who Scooby that good run game, no forcing, perfect throw were often good playoff teams. Only a couple of exceptions. That's true. That's the formula. Run the ball. Run the ball.
Run the damn
Run the ball, Kevin.
Don't turn
Yes.
it over. Yes. LOL. Oh, she's laughing at our jokes. Thank you.
Mhm.
You should have heard me. I came out firing for the show. For the show last week. Yeah, like you said, I think protection of the football will be more important than yards, etc. Yes, always wear protection.
Yeah,
That's
and
right.
I came out backfiring. That's normally the problem around here.
Well, no, because it was just I fired out with a midget joke right away. I just came right out in the show with a midget joke.
Well, that went over my head.
Yay!
Oh,
Hey, well, what do you call a midget with no arms and an eye patch? Names.
I'll bite your legs off. I'll bite a flesh wound.
There you go. See?
I fought in your general direction.
Now we're quoting Monty Python. Now, what was the one I texted you? I texted it to you and Lysandra, Sherry.
Wait, I gotta read it before I say it. 'Cause
I can tell it. I'll say it.
hold on, let me pull it up here.
I said, is oral sex from a girl in a wheelchair considered roadhead?
And what else? There's a second part to it.
Oh, should I turn on the hazard lights?
Yes. That part I like.
I wrote that one.
Anything with blinking lights is fun.
Yes. Yeah.
Well,
Oh, more hats. That's the last thing we need is more hats. Why would they give us
Listen,
a
let's
t-shirt?
these comments are getting out of control. You hope one of these
Mickey
Cougars were,
Mouse.
you want to get Jeremiah Smith at 27. Okay, we'll see what that happens. I'm not going to worry about that. Jeremiah
but
Smith's on.
you know what? Let me
Oof.
tell you this. Actually, here's an interesting thing to Nick and Niles.
Yeah.
Okay,
Saints made the worst pick. One of them. I agree.
Let's say the Browns actually figure
Yeah.
out their quarterback thing after this year, right? And they
Yeah.
use their next 2 picks, the 2 first rounders next year, and get really good players. And they are actually good. They won't be anywhere close to the top of the draft board to take Jeremiah Smith. So if you want Jeremiah Smith, you need to be the worst team in professional football in 2026. And I don't want that. I do not want that. That was the whole thing with everybody being like, tank for Arch. Tank. I'm not worried about next year's draft. I'm worried
No.
about
We just got through this one.
We just got through this one. Let's
see what.
well, if
pans
we got
out.
2 first-round picks, you could package picks and move up eventually. You can make something happen if you want to move up and get a
could,
guy.
but these people were this is before that trade was made. This was well before that trade was made on draft
Yeah.
day. They were just talking about
We need to tank 2027 for a guy.
Yeah, they were thinking ahead. Oh, tank for Arch Manning, who's barely played any college football because they think the last name ultimately. I know what I'm saying.
Exhibit B.
I know what I'm saying, but they think that
A legacy name, sure.
They
A
think
football
they-
family name, right?
I don't know, but we're all like,
Yeah, that's true.
and that's true as well. And nobody else wanted to,
Yeah, we trade with the Jags for 2027. Yeah, let's see if we'll do it. Give us your first rounder again. Yeah,
Yep.
Oh my gosh. So anyway, but
yeah, I got you.
Oh my
No,
god.
I got you. People get the draft made people crazy. The schedule makes people crazy. It's just like I just think people are just people are out of your minds. God. Yeah.
Absolutely. I just happened to see a clip online. Did you watch the show on A&E Locked Up?
I have not, because I lived it, so I don't want to experience any of that shit in real life.
I never watched Locked Up, but her saying she lived it. You lived.
They did a
It was on the Browns.
They did a series,
Going-
and they show like all the security footage from all the games, and people get drunk and told to go away from
Yeah,
the game.
exactly.
It's pretty.
Oh, I thought you were talking about in a prison, like locked up. I was just.
Oh
like,
no,
I
no,
was
no,
like
no.
a prison
no.
doc.
It's
Okay.
Stadium. It's called Stadium Lock.
Oh,
Stadium.
They have like
Locked
they have a
Locked.
jail in the stadium.
And
to
it
put the rowdy
shows
people,
it
yeah.
shows a lot of people we know and
Yes!
circumstances we understand that happened in the stadium. And I'm like, I live that bullshit. I'm not watching it on TV. Sure,
No, I
see
didn't watch
friends
it,
way
no.
by.
I
like there's
I keep myself under control. I keep myself
it's
under
the Stanley
control.
Cup playoffs. There's very little that'll tear me away from hockey this time of year.
Yes,
including
thank you, Amber. Thank you, Amber. Thank you.
basketball. Like
Yeah.
I am very focused on my favorite hockey team and my
She
favorite
said
sport.
she was going to be distracted.
I
so
am. I got the game right here. Finally, I
You're
am
doing
so
fine.
excited.
But hey, you know what?
Oh, look, the Leafs' best players going into the locker room.
Who, Austin Matthews?
Yes, sir.
Oh, is he
Isn't
also-
Good
yeah.
for us.
that impressive that I know like one player per team?
Yeah. Okay, name me a Panther.
Kachuk,
Yes. Which one?
Bobrovsky.
I almost said
Oh,
Black
you know
Panther.
too. I'm
You
so
said
proud
name me a
of you.
Panther. I said Black Panther.
Which
Panther.
Black
which
Panther.
which Kachuk is on the Florida Panthers team?
The one that's good.
Oh.
So I don't know, but I will say that
Matthew.
in other sports news
Matthew.
going on, did you see the stupid Guardians took a dump this afternoon?
Oh, look. Bring it up in the comments. I got Seth Jones. Hell yeah. Jonesy's is a new acquisition. Very
Yeah, and
thank you, Mike.
Nick's up
Way
by
to
24
go.
for anyone who cares. Well,
it,
cool.
it just went to 27 at halftime. Yeah. All right,
Cool.
guys, let's have the debate right now.
Oh, Brad Marchand. Yes,
Which
one of
is
the
more-
most hated hockey players in
He
all
is.
of hockey.
I hated him in Boston.
Before it was cool. Sure, I get it.
Um,
Why
is
Celtics
it
win for
better
fans?
or worse?
Okay.
Do you hate the Knick fans more than you hate Celtic fans, or vice versa? Do we have any opinions or thoughts on this?
I don't. I have no opinions on Celtics fans or Knicks fans. I really don't.
I hate Knick fans. I hate. I honest to goodness, they make it insufferable because
Really?
it's really all of New York because they think they're God's gift to the world.
There's that.
And the
Yeah.
fact
But their
that
hockey teams suck.
they shut down the street outside of the Garden
The
after
God,
every freaking win, and it's annoying. It's just annoying because as soon as they win, they haven't won squat,
since
and they
'73.
act like they're the best ever, and
It's Spike Lee.
so great.
Well, speaking of insufferable fans,
Yes,
have you been on X lately following Daryl Ryder?
I have. There's a lot of craziness out there. Whenever you start talking stadium,
Oh, Lordy Lord. Yeah. Well, I knew that the mayor was losing his argument when he played the race card early. Because he tried to say that moving it to Brook Park would hurt people of color to get jobs in the stadium. And I just sat there. I'm like, what would prevent them from going to Brook Park? If they took public transportation downtown, they could take public transportation to the airport.
Yeah.
And they'd have more dates to work. They'd have more opportunities to work. So
Oh,
I'm like,
not to mention, they're going to be adding other businesses as a mixed use development, and those are going to be additional jobs. The insanity of the fact that the county is acting like they're not going to benefit. And we talked about this before. The fact that the business owners in downtown Cleveland who say, "Oh, my whole year, everything's like," you are depending on 10 dates a year. That's it. That's your business plan. You might as well close now. Might as well close now because that's ridiculous. And like you talked about, Lou, if they get the public transportation piece right,
well, the red line already goes to the airport.
Tailgate downtown until whatever time, and then hitch a ride or catch the rapid right out to Brook Park.
Because it already goes to the airport.
Well,
the red
even
line.
the
So
mayor
they're
of
not going to have to do that big of a.
no, it's not that big.
change.
It's no, and the mayor of Brook Park even came out and said tailgating will be a part of it. So I think that was the biggest concern of the fans was having the camaraderie, having the experience of tailgating.
I think
before
people
and
are
after
just really pissed off at the amount of money it's going to cost to park to tailgate.
How much does it cost now? If you park downtown and tailgate.
I'm not talking. I don't know about the Muni lot, but the little lots. I don't think they're that.
Some of them are like
expensive.
$70. We walk by them. They're $70.
No, I'm not talking
$75.
about general parking. I'm talking about where the tailgate
Yeah.
buses park and such.
Well,
It's
I know
very
Harvey's
cheap.
friend Adam was paying like $75 for the day to park there. Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those things where, first of all, the tailgating is going to be there. People are crazy, and they're going to do.
It's just going to be nice new asphalt, and people are going to be pissed about that because it's not all craggy, and you're not going to break your
You're not
ankle
going to see
being
weeds.
drunk.
You're not going to see weeds growing out from.
They're going to have to like pump in the bum piece smell. They're going to have to pump that in to make it feel, authentic tailgating, and the panhandlers will have to slap them on the rapid and get them down to the parking lots for the full downtown experience.
Yes. Let's just take a step back here because a lot of people were saying, "Oh, it's only for the rich." This is what I talked to Johnny Cleveland earlier today about this, and I remember all these same arguments in '89 about the Indians, and the Indians in the '80s were horrid.
Oh, they were awful.
They just, you want to see them in first place, you turn the paper upside down. So that's what you had to do. That's how bad it was. Okay, guys. So, and this is before they were the Guardians, they were the Indians back then. And so, but we voted on a syntax to build the arena and the baseball field downtown. Then, it's only going to be for rich people. I'm not going to go. You want to know what the difference was? In 1994, that was a good team. In 95, they started winning. You start winning there at that dome, that's the key. People are going to love it. As long as the team's winning, they're going to think it's the greatest thing ever. If they're not winning and they're still playing crappy, they're going to hate it.
Right. Lou, it's one of those things that
We got to keep up with the comments here.
right. Overcoming objections. When I worked at a shoe store at retail, overcoming objections was one of the steps of sales. So it's one of those things that you have to talk to the fans, and winning is one of those things that will overcome objections. And actually, so the stadium at Brook, the parking.
Yeah, everything's going to be cheaper in 5 years. I'll guarantee it. Yeah. Right, Mike?
But yeah, you have to overcome the objections, and winning will do that. I think that there is going to be a time when you're going to go, God, I just can't afford that. I mean, but you have to make choices. You can't, just because you can do something now doesn't mean that you're always going to be able to do it.
Right.
What would have happened if they renovated the stadium and spent $1 billion to renovate it? Right.
Right.
Aren't they going to increase ticket prices anyway?
Well, they did. They did anyway. This past we won 3 games and they increased ticket.
Yeah, they're going to increase it anyway.
They're going to do it anyway.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter.
And guess what? If they would have remodeled the stadium or redone it or anything, that was all taxpayer money.
Right.
All of it would have been taxpayer, and it would have been for an outdoor football only stadium to be used 10 to maybe 15 times a year. So let's think this through. And there was a plan in place 5 years ago, guys. People don't know this. They're not reporting this. Daryl Ryder was the only one reporting. I should reach out to him and ask him if he wants to come on.
Sure.
Just say I might slide in his DMs. I already did that with Kozar. I reached out to Kozar. I did. I didn't hear back from him, which I didn't expect.
Neither did I. Don't worry, Lou. Neither did I.
Yeah, it's okay. Well, anyway, so what I did? No, they want to come on and hear midget jokes. So what the thing was is Mayor Jackson and the Browns were working on a plan, and like I said, you're right. You're right, Amber. Winning does solve everything. It does. Winning cures all. But they had the plan in place, and then Mayor Bibb comes in 2021, and he just looked at it and said, no, we're going to do our own thing. Whatever Mayor Bibb didn't like, I can imagine if you want to make some changes or tweaks, they're probably expecting that, but to completely scrap it, that's the story I heard. And the Haslams went, okay, then they started looking other places. That's what did it. And if you want to sit there and say it's the rich guy taking football away from downtown Cleveland, don't blame him. Blame Mayor Bibb. Blame the right people. There was a plan in place.
Right. And then quite frankly, and as part of that, scrapping that plan, they said, okay, fine, we're going to build an enclosed stadium. We're not going to do this open air BS. Because they were talking about the thing with the hideous land bridge, as Tony Grossi calls it.
I remember seeing those renderings.
The hideous land bridge.
Beautiful land bridge. It would be beautiful. It'd be called Trump Bridge. What's up?
Yeah, so I don't know. But yes, like you said, people are absolutely, they go haywire over it. And it's a very polarizing thing. But I don't think everybody, it seems like people pick the side and dump it.
No. The stadium, current stadium is owned by the city of Cleveland.
And that is part of the thing, Mike.
And the syntax is the county.
Right. It's the Modell law where they're like, and the lease and so on and so forth. And that's where the Haslams could have said, if you're paying for all the repairs, this is your building. You're the owner. You're the landlord. You pay for it.
They do. The city does because they bill them for it. They pay it, but then they bill them and they get reimbursed based on the lease agreement. So yeah, that's what's been going on.
And so for everybody who's like,
you're
wasting
right, Mike.
tax dollars, actually, you're wasting more tax dollars on the current thing and what they would want to do.
If it was a house on the market, it'd be considered a money pit. That's what I said. I said it's a dump. I mean, guys, it's like you're trying to tell these people stuff, and then they flip out and they just, I don't want to go. I don't want to.
Well, initially it's because people don't like change, especially the old guard. The old guard does not like change. How perceptive are the elderly when you try to change anything on them? Even?
I will tell you this though, Sherry. This is interesting. Lou, I think I changed my dad's mind. I was talking about the stadium.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was talking to him about the stadium, and he's
I was
like,
like, were you
"Oh,
sitting on a college campus with a sign?
he was like, oh, it's outside. You play football. I said, it's sinking. The land is sinking.
Into the lake.
And he was like, oh. And I was like, what are you going to do? I'm like, you going to go sit out in the cold? Huh? Well, I'm 80 years old.
Well, hello.
No one wants to sit in the cold.
No. That wind.
And people were
hurts.
talking about a weather advantage. So what was our record over the last 25 years?
No, the weather
Yeah.
does not help.
No,
It
it
does
doesn't help.
not
It doesn't
help at
hurt.
all.
It's you have a better team. Let's get good
Yep.
players. So I think
Sure.
if we have a winning team there, that's going to cure it all. That's going to shut everybody up. Because I remember I used to go to Indians games when they stunk, and
Oh,
the stadium
yeah.
was empty. We're seeing like you see like Corey Snyder and Pat Tabler play with Mel Hall and Brooks
Yes.
Jacoby. All these guys. So I'm naming names from the '80s for Indians
Top
players.
Bales, Greg Swindell.
Yeah.
He was the
Yes.
ace. Greg Swindell
Yes.
was the ace.
Oh,
and
oh.
Doug
Doug
Jones.
Jones. Doug Jones. Yeah, Doug Jones. He looked like he was going to throw up when he was in the stretch. So,
Can I get Ernie Macho Camacho?
yes.
How about Bake McBride?
Oh God, Cecilio Guante. There we go. No, seriously. And then all of a sudden, come '95, you can barely get tickets. When
There
you
were
get
some-
tickets, you go there. There's all these yuppies.
Oh
That-
no, yuppies are the worst.
Yeah, all these like yuppies that
80s
were at
yuppies.
the game.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
90s yuppies. These were 90s yuppies.
Nine. Okay, so it kind of
Yeah.
Sure.
They're just, and it's just like they were just there because it was the thing to do.
Well, right. and you remember
Cabareti's
when you
yuppies.
Get the tickets. First of all, they had the team shops in the mall, right?
Yeah.
And you could go there to get tickets, but you had to line up. There would be lines out the
Oh,
door.
was that like
mall.
Ticketmaster at J.C. Penney kind of thing?
So I mean, but it was an
Sears
actual
store.
Cleveland Indians.
Oh, Sears.
team store. It was
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
a Cleveland Indians team store, and there would be lines at Belden Village Mall on like a random February day or January day. It's people lining up for Indians tickets. They're trying to get in, because you had to buy them up. They were sold out for the year. It was crazy.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, you couldn't go on back. That was early day. The internet was in its infancy. It wasn't like it
AOL
was
or
today.
AIM name.
was.
Right, I got it.
I didn't even. I think I was still using Net Zero.
I didn't even know what I
Yes.
was. I don't think I was using the internet in '95. I was just, yes.
Mm.
I
Yes.
think I had a free email account. It was a Juno account.
Oh, Juno.
I had a
Shout
Hotmail.
out,
I had a
Juno.
Hotmail. I still have the
I
same
had
Hotmail.
AOL. Yeah.
Let me see.
He was talking about the snow games. In
Oh,
okay,
the snow games.
sure.
Let me see. Oh, was that what you meant? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Nah.
yeah.
If it's okay if you're against it, but the thing was, the commissioner came, talked to the state, and really what the state was asking the commissioner was, "Are we going to get a Super Bowl? We build this. Are we going to get a Super Bowl in Ohio?" And he couldn't guarantee it, but he
Of
said,
course.
he said,
Right,
"Hey,"
exactly.
he said, "Hey,
Wink,
the
wink.
building would fit the specifications for a Super Bowl. We just need to know what the hotels are, and that's all the stuff that's being built around it." Okay, so yeah, if they can accommodate, if they have hotel accommodations, we're getting a Super Bowl in Cleveland. So
there's so many great things that you can do.
WrestleMania,
And it's not
NCAA
like
Final
I know
Fours.
some people might try to pull out the. Well, what did you think when the Cavs played out at Richfield Coliseum? That is a different story, folks. That there was nothing built up around that. That was just that really was.
that was in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, I
Palace
remember
on
those
the
days.
Prairie, Palace on the Prairie.
Yeah,
You remember? I used to. I mean, obviously,
I used to
growing
go there and watch the WWF. That's where I won all the shows.
Yeah, I don't know if I ever saw wrestling there or not, but
I was at the first Survivor Series there.
wow,
I was 14. I was 14. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You could see, you could look at I think it was in the 93, 92 Survivor Series. I'm in the second row. You could see me
Nice.
on the hard camera it was Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels was the main event. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right, Cleveland. I think Cleveland. So by building the Brook Park area, I think what you're saying, Mike, is they're going to build additional hotels. And they're reaching the airport as well. Which
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
And think about this: if you're gonna get mad at Haslam because he's rich, he's spending more money than any owner on the roster. Now, you want to say he's not spending it wisely? Fine. Now, he's spending money on the practice facility, and he's going to spend money on a new stadium. This guy is investing in the team in Northeast Ohio. Now, is it turning?
That whole area in Berea is getting built up.
Yeah,
It's not just the actual facility. It's a whole thing they're building there.
it's gonna look amazing. And I said, look, guys, he's spending the money and he also kept the Columbus Crew from moving.
Yep.
So
Right.
so there's so much. I mean, that's why I hear like when I hear certain sports shows going, well, he's just a rich guy and he wants his toy, and I'm like, no, that's not it. God,
Yeah.
you see what's sitting there now across the street from the airport? It's empty buildings. It's a vacant lot. It's
Mhm.
nothing. They build that up. Wow, what are we gonna have?
Now I will ask you this, and maybe this is part of the traffic study, and this is
They
something
did
that
like another one this week.
right.
Yeah.
They were applying. What did I read? They were applying for like permits and stuff of that nature.
Mhm.
Because what happens if you've got a flight out on a
Well, that's just it.
on a home
That's-
Browns game day? That could get a little dicey.
Dicey.
And
Mhm.
That'll have to be taken into consideration. I mean,
Leave early. Leave early for your flight.
yeah, early is the right thing. That's an understatement.
Mhm.
I mean, we've got, and quite frankly, I mean, Cleveland's airport and
So
maybe and
cute.
also they need to have, by having a stadium out there in Brook Park and bringing in big events, maybe that will also help them bring back some of the airlines and the
Yeah.
and the air.
Yeah. Because there's not many.
This is
Like,
a tweet
better.
here from the. Let me see who's this from? The Cleveland Browns podcast called The Dogs, and they said the opposition to the Browns building the Brook Park Dome makes no sense at this point. There was never a doubt this was happening the second the land purchase was announced. And
Okay,
they're right.
I want to answer something to this guy. Okay, shouldn't you have more than 3 winning seasons before you ask for a couple billion? No. One has absolutely nothing to do with the other. Okay, it has nothing to do with the other. That is the dumbest argument I've ever seen. That's crazy. Stop. That's just
Yeah.
It's because even the governor,
The Indians in
'89
'89 didn't have a winning season for like
Exactly.
20 years, and
Exactly.
people voted for his
And
syntax. Sorry to interrupt you, Sherry. I didn't mean to. Go ahead.
Furthermore, Haslam isn't asking for couples of billions. What he's like 1.2, and he's spending what 2.4.
He's
Like,
spending 2.4. 600 billion is going to be a loan from the state. He's actually spending 300, another 300 from the city of Brook Park. So there's a lot of mischaracterization of how this is going down. It's so bad. It's just so dishonest. It's sickening. And I know Sherry's sick of talking about, but what were you about
Right.
to say? I'm sorry.
All right. Yeah.
No,
No,
it's
I mean the governor's all for it because it will bring revitalization to
They
this part
know.
of the state that needs it. Because if you've been to Cleveland and the surrounding, like close, I'm talking like where I live, in the close area, it needs the money and the love because there are taxpayer bases that don't exist in some of these burbs, and revitalization in the county would be phenomenal.
They're trying to save political face is what they're doing. Yeah.
Yep.
Go
And
ahead.
it's dumb, and it should. You know what? I miss the days of when this kind of bullshit business was done behind closed doors because I am sick of hearing about it.
Well, you know
This
what?
is such horseshit. Nobody cares really anymore because it's gonna happen. The
Right.
wheels are in motion. The guys with the big bags of money are gonna get what they want, and it's gonna be great. It's going to be great. So just let it happen. I don't want to hear this investigative reporter, that this social media schmuck, that social media schmuck. I don't care what radio station you're from, what broadcast station you're from. Shut up. Nobody cares. Nobody cares anymore. This is
No, we
dumb.
know
It's
it's
a
gonna.
waste of time.
You're wasting your
gonna happen.
energy and time on something
Exactly.
you have no control over.
Exactly. If you don't like it, you know what? Leave.
Don't
Go
go.
to a different fan base.
Don't go to the
Become
games.
a Steelers fan. Become
a
whatever.
Lions fan. Do whatever you want.
Exactly. Yes.
That's and Sherry. First of all, I love fired up Sherry. This is good.
I love it.
Well,
Oh,
like
yeah.
hockey, man. It's 0-0. We're going into the second intermission, and I am fired up to put
You
the
are. I
Leafs to
do
bed.
appreciate this. Yeah, it's like my friends who are always complaining about everything that every sports team in town does, whether it's the Cavs, the Guardians, the Browns, whatever it is. I'm like, why are you even paying attention? If you think they're so bad and you're so against it, why are you even listening to sports radio? Why are you paying attention? Turn it off. Just turn it off
Exactly.
and go away. Quit being
It's that
miserable.
easy. Stop
Quit.
giving it attention. Stop.
Mhm.
Just
It's
Stop.
like the
go
lard.
away.
It's like the lard lad, giant, donut guy. If you stop,
Yes, exactly.
die. But you know what we do need to give attention to? We need to give attention to our sponsors, Lou.
Absolutely.
Thank
yes.
you, Ethan. We're going to go ahead and pause for a break from our sponsors right now. How about them sponsors? Thank you, Ethan.
Well,
You guys
way
are
to
so
go, Ethan.
thoughtful. You guys are so thoughtful. We get all fired up and talking about the stadium. It's like there's people that have trouble falling asleep, but then they're on their phone and they're stimulating their
And the
brain
blue light,
up until
yeah,
the
you gotta
point
turn
and the
off
light.
the blue light. You gotta put
And
the
it's like
filter on.
you're setting your face on fire and wondering why
Yes.
it's hot. That's what you're
Mhm,
doing.
mhm.
You're getting
And
yourself
why you
riled
can't
up and
sleep,
angry.
because you're activating your ion channels in your brain
You're
that are
going-
supposed to be producing melatonin by looking at a
Mhm.
blue light that's close to your face. You schmucks.
Well, see, you know what? I think that we need to have a science tip of the week from Sherry.
What?
Oh no,
Put the phone down, fatty? I don't know.
Put the phone- Put the
you were
phone down, fatty.
speaking
Yeah.
science there.
Put the phone-
I like that. I do appreciate that. What is the thing on Family Guy? It's like talking about Meg's talking about losing weight, and Brian yells, "Put down the fork!"
It's funny, you know what?
Put the cookie down.
Yes, exactly. I love when Lou
Put the
does
cookie
that.
down.
Years and years ago, I came up with a diet plan that I told Matt about. I'm like, you know what it's called? He's like, what? I'm like, put the fork down, fatty. That's the name of the diet plan. And every now and then, I'm like, mantra, put the fork down, fatty. Put it down. Put it down.
It's
put it
kind of sad. I would think it was shortly after college. One of my buddies, he said something to me about maybe what I was going to do or something, and I think he called me a fat ass, and I think he was joking, but honestly, it
You?
motivated me to get to at that.
down.
So
At that point in the
at that
timeline.
point in time, I wasn't horribly overweight, but it motivated me to get to the gym and lose some weight at that time.
Well,
And
sometimes it can help.
Heck
Yeah.
Sure.
I told Ken Carmen, I'll put him on a program. I did. Adam the Bull, and whoever.
hey,
mean,
no, that's great. We used to chuckle. It's kind of bad, but someone I worked with talked about the fork over knife diet or something. Have you guys ever heard of this nonsense? Like, if you can't eat it without
Please.
a knife, you have to. And we're like, oh, it's a pitchfork. That's a fork, right?
What about chopsticks? Just eat all your meals with chopsticks.
It's gonna slow you down for sure.
That
That too. That's good. That's good.
So it's good music. Wait, is that copyrighted too? Should I be careful? Uh-oh.
Nah.
Well, okay, let's switch gears here on something. The topic of the schedule. This bothered me a little bit too. It bothered me the people's reaction to it. We have no primetime games, and people are flipping out over that. I don't give a shit.
I agree 100%.
Does anybody give a shit that we have? I guarantee if Shador Sanders is playing and starting against the Titans when they're playing starting Tamworth,
watch.
they're gonna flex it till 4:30, and it's gonna be prime time.
The only thing I'm not happy about with them not having primetime games is more so that they stink so bad. We are going to get the absolute worst national broadcast crews. You're going to get stuck with Spiro Doo-Doos and Adam Fart Chuleta.
I don't give a shit. Yeah.
Well, I understand because you're going to be at the stadium when they're in Cleveland. And I'm going to have to sync up Andrew Siciliano and Nathan Segura to my TV so that I don't have to listen to those.
There's a workaround for that. Yeah.
Cleveland hating nonsense SOBs. They, along with Brian Anderson over at TNT, who did the baseball playoffs last year, they can all go and have a party themselves and go somewhere else. Because how are you on national media and you're that biased? So annoying.
Well, that's pretty much it. What is this?
He's talking about Goldhammer.
Uh-huh.
One of the goals should be to force the league to flex a game to prime time. He's right.
It could happen. It could happen. Why not?
Playing
It could.
well,
Yeah. So what?
that should be the goal. And I think Andrew Siciliano said something very similar about it. They talked to him today. I'm not worried about them. Look, we do better with no expectations, sadly. So
That's my favorite. I go in with zero expectations, and
Zero
then
expectations.
that's my whole
All
life.
about the setup.
yes. exactly.
It's all
Mhm.
about the sub. Yeah, that didn't bother me at all. And I'm not playing the schedule games. So that's a win. That's a
No,
win.
I
That's a win.
hate the
That's a loss.
schedule
That's
games so much. I
you
hate
you
it.
have no idea what these teams are going to look like in December or November. You have no idea how their seasons are going to be going. It's May. I
It
mean,
is. It is. And
yeah.
last year on Going Nuclear, we did it. My co-host Mike and
Mhm.
my son Jacob, we did it. And we checked our records. And I'm like, all right, let's talk. And then, like, right before the season started, we said, do we want to revise? Does anyone want to revise this? I think I took mine down a couple of games. And I think we
I thought they were going to be a good team because I thought we were going to have
Yeah,
good
me too.
quarterback play.
I
And I
think I
was
said 10 or
wrong.
11.
might.
Mhm.
And my biggest thing is I want to see these guys busting their tails. I don't want to see this country club mentality at the,
That- you,
Browns could
Sure.
end up in a new Commanders. Who knows?
You never
oh,
know.
oh yeah. Well, that's crazy, but that'd be nice. Yeah, you
It
never
would
know.
be nice. You
Yeah.
never know.
the stats are that, like, what, every year X amount of teams that didn't make the playoffs the year before make it.
Mhm.
There's got to be something.
There's an X amount of teams that made the playoffs the year before don't make it.
Right. And that as well. That as well. That's kind
There's
of like,
one last thing I wanted to bring up. I saw the
Perfect.
story about Caleb Williams' father. Did you hear about the book?
yes.
Mhm.
Okay. His father was quoted, and I guess Caleb Williams backed it up. Was this book? I can't remember. His Sports Kings was the book or something.
Yeah, it's
And-
not, and it's by Seth Wickersham.
Yes, yes. And in the book, he did research on all these quarterbacks, and Caleb Williams was one of them. And Caleb Williams was basically the father would say, "Yeah, he should have never said this," which was stupid. They were trying. They said Chicago is the place to go where quarterbacks die. They did not want to go there. They did not want. They're
Wow.
trying to get out of going there. But then they said, "Okay, let's
Wow.
not say anything. Let's just take it and let's go.
Yeah.
Let's make the best of it." So that came out. And there's some, and the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show was like, could you imagine if that was said in Cleveland? And most people, like, there's fans that wouldn't believe it, and there's fans that say, well, as long as we win, we don't care. If there's fans that would say that, but there's some that are going to be mad anyway. I think, man, yeah, that's just. But you think this stuff only happens in Cleveland, which it doesn't. Just
No.
that's my
Right.
point.
Exactly. And so let me. I was thinking about that discussion. Could
About
you
Caleb
imagine-
Williams. Mhm.
About Caleb Williams and
Mhm.
the attitude of, I don't want to go to that organization and I want to force my way somewhere else. Let's talk about it from a perspective of, hey, I'm a guy looking for my first professional job, and I've got this place is like, here's the opportunity. I can go and make the most of it, or I could turn my nose up at it and say, no, you guys suck. I'm too good for you. How's that going to work out? You go there and there are 32 starting quarterbacks. You've got an opportunity. You go and you make the change. You work your butt off. If it doesn't work out there, okay. It's not the end of your life there, buddy. First of all, that guy is very immature emotionally. I didn't like what he did in college, especially at USC. I was not impressed with him at all. So this kind of thing and shenanigans, and maybe it's more so his father than him. But either way, I don't know. It's kind of like the big baller brand, Lonzo. Oh, that guy.
Ugh. That's why people were afraid of that crap with Dion
Right.
yeah. And I haven't gotten that vibe yet. Not yet.
Yeah, so far so good.
Yeah. Hey. I mean, he wasn't showing up at rookie mini camp. He wasn't.
Thank goodness.
Colorado. He's got a football program to worry
Mhm.
about.
Yeah. Yeah. He's got a job to do out in Colorado. So I'm thinking, but I did like what I guess he picked up the phone and talked to Barry right after he drafted his son and said, hey, look, I'm going to be out of the way. I think he said something like that. Like, hey, thank you. I'm going to be out of the way. But he wanted what's best for his kid. So,
Well,
and-
yeah, and there's a thing with wanting what's best for your kid and looking out for them, but at the same time,
they got to learn by their own mistakes.
that's true. And at the same time,
Mhm.
running your mouth and then interviewing and doing these types of things, that is a bad look. That is a bad look. And now they were, again, I'm sorry for stealing all the things they were saying on the radio earlier, but it's true. What do you think is going to happen when Caleb Williams trots out You know,
Well, right. That's just it. It's gonna hurt your kid. It's not gonna help your kid. It's gonna hurt your kid, and the retribution is gonna be taken out on your kid.
Especially if he doesn't play well. Yeah.
Exactly.
What about didn't Colt McCoy's dad have a lot of negative things to say after the injury to Colt McCoy at Pittsburgh?
The concussion, because he went back out on the field. Nobody stopped
Right.
him, and he said, "How did you let him go out there?" And
Right. He had a lot to say. He had a lot to say in it. You know,
yeah,
one of those things like, sheesh, enjoy the opportunities
Mhm.
and don't go running your mouth as a parent.
yeah, yeah. Just keep. If you have a problem with the organization, you tell them. Don't go public. Like Odell Beckham Jr.'s dad sitting
That
a
was
still
awful.
picture.
That was so bad.
They-
Yeah,
they
that
did the
was-
same shit to Deshaun. They're going to do the same shit to any of these quarterbacks. There's going to
Mhm.
be a still picture of a black when the third down wasn't converted. And it's
Mhm.
just like, ugh.
It was absolutely crazy, and I think it's one of those things where it happens a lot that you go, "Oh my gosh, that's not good." But the other thing is that when you start talking about the still pictures, like the Odell Beckham stuff or whatever it is, you don't know what the play was or the design was. Although last year, he was a decoy. He was wide open. Well, he was a decoy. Do you remember that?
Yes. Yes.
He was
No,
a
was
decoy.
what are you talking about? That giant the play against the Giants?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That guy was a decoy.
look good, decoy. Yeah, that shit's
Oh my
over with. That
Oh.
shit's over with.
Mhm.
Who said that? Was it Watson that said that?
Yes.
Mhm.
I'm
Yes.
trying. Yeah, you refreshed my memory. I was just like, I kind of threw my hands
Yeah.
up. I'm like, I'm just.
He was a decoy.
He was a decoy.
That was
But
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
no, he's open. Throw the fucking ball. I mean,
right.
Yeah, that would have. It's really crazy, though. Do you think how Watson just mentally broke? How he mentally broke, and was so hesitant, wouldn't throw the ball, and it caused all the other things that to go downhill, getting sacked so much, getting all of those things. He's just, I think, mentally broken.
Mhm.
yeah. I'm not expecting
doubt.
him to play again for the Browns. But
Oh, definitely not the Browns. I don't know that he'll ever play again. Did you see his post?
Yeah.
I think Sherry. I think you saw his post on Instagram. The Watsons is in his
Mhm,
luxury
mhm.
car.
Mhm.
Good.
Yeah,
Enjoy.
Good.
bye.
Enjoy. That's your lot in life now. Just
Yeah,
enjoy.
just-
Just,
just-
All right.
do
just-
that.
Well, here's the thing. All right. Big question of the day: will anybody pick up Justin Tucker?
No.
No.
Will
That's great.
will Trey Hendrickson be playing Week 1?
No.
Bungles.
If he's true to his word, I don't see the Bengals paying him. They could fine him, but I don't know what's going to happen. So
Well, like, what was it? You who was saying like he could just hang out until maybe it was Joel. I think the other night.
I think Joel said, yeah, Joel was really shitting on the Bengals Wednesday night.
Oh yeah, he was having a good
Oh,
time.
wow.
Well, that's what happens when you eat lots of Skyline chili. You shit on the big.
Ugh.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, that was my point too. I mean, we had the national media shitting on us enough. We don't need to shit on ourselves. So
Exactly.
Exactly. No,
But-
I don't know. It'll be very interesting. I'm looking forward to it all. I got to tell you, I'm waiting for training camp dates.
Sure.
yeah, training camp will start. I'm waiting. There's so
In
much
the
that needs it,
summer.
and the preseason too. I mean, there's
Yeah.
so much to watch. I think the preseason is going to be a lot more closer because we got the two young quarterbacks. We're going to watch them
It'll
play.
be fun.
It'll be fun.
Why
It'll be
am I
fun.
more excited about preseason? Well, I want
I
to see
know.
the new kids. I want to see the new kids play.
I want to
Mhm.
see Gillen Gabriel and Shador Sanders play.
Yeah.
We got and people. This is the thing that blew my mind too. There's people complaining after day one, but whatever, or after day two of the draft, the first 3 rounds, we had 4 picks, and we didn't. Oh no, we had how many picks did we have? No, we
We had 6 picks in the first 2 days. I think I think that
no
makes
no. We had 5. We had 5. We had two. No, we had the first rounder was Mason Graham. Then we had Schlesinger, Judkins.
Mhm.
Then we had Fannin. And who
right.
else?
You're right. And then that was the because that was the second and third rounds, and then 4
Mhm.
4 through 7 are on the last day.
Yeah, 4 through 7 on the last day, and I
That's
know.
when we got
Oh
Sam.
no, we also no. We had Dylan Gabriel in the end of the third round.
Right.
He was our
And
fifth
then-
pick. He was our
Right,
fifth
right,
pick.
right. And then we got Samson and Sam.
And then Sanders and Sampson in the fourth round. I couldn't believe he was still
that's
there.
amazing. Yeah, that's a fantastic deal there.
I was like, how is he still there? I was shocked when we picked him. But my point was, people were complaining we didn't really go big on quarterback after the first 2 rounds. Then we drafted Gabriel. People didn't like Gabriel, which is fine. Shador Sanders was still on the board. We get him in the 5th round. Then people are complaining that we picked him. I'm like,
Oh, you couldn't win. You couldn't win.
No.
Lou.
it's like
You can never win though.
they
Never.
remind you like a bipolar ex-girlfriend. What do you want? It's
I
like,
feel like there are more than 2 poles though.
yeah, it's,
Well, I feel like the one pole is connected on one end to someone's rear and another person's rear on the other end.
the
And
human
They're
centipede.
fighting.
Talking about the
Oh no!
no.
human- Ooh. I went there. Yeah.
You did go there. And-
But But
Yeah.
it's just like we got a guy that was considered a first or second round talent in the 5th round. If he works out, we're set. That completely
Sure.
erases the Watson deal. It does.
exactly. Well, look, it essentially look what the 49ers did in
They
that
just
draft.
extended Brock Purdy today. Yeah.
They had traded all those picks and everything to move up and take Trey Lance. And if they hadn't drafted Brock Purdy with the last pick of that draft and had it turn out the way it has, they all would have been fired.
Right.
So I mean, we have done. They are doing things amazingly enough, kind of in the right way, as we discussed, Lou and Sherry. I lost my mind at the draft.
I talked you off the ledge.
You
I
did
talked you.
off the ledge, but ultimately,
Let's see what
yes,
we got. Let's see what we got. Well, calm down.
we do. I gotta see these guys bust their asses, and let's see what happens when we put them in a better system. I'm telling you, smash and dash. Smash and dash with Judkins and Sampson. Sprinkle in a little bit of a found on road fixed or repaired daily. Maybe something
Yeah.
strong, and you're set. Are we going to find a return guy this year? Can anybody return the ball, or do we need to bring Josh Cribbs back in?
Darius Toney.
He's busy.
Oh, Kadarius! Like you could count all the terrible wide receivers that we've had. I did a whole spiel on it.
We had a guy from the Bears, and he kept getting hurt.
Jakeem
Grant.
Grant.
Yeah, Kareem Grant. He kept getting hurt. Yeah, I remember that guy. Hopefully they'll find somebody. We'll see what they got. Really, just get back there and fair catch. Shut up. That's really what you got to do.
Okay, you know what? And that's another thing. Let me talk about people and their craziness. I see people who are like complaining about the kickoff rules and this, that, and the other. They've changed it, but they're trying to make it so there are more returns now. So it's not just the touchback. So for the people who are saying it's using a derogatory slang term to describe the ladylikeness of the kickoff, the new kickoff, because they don't think it's manly enough, they're actually trying to promote the return by penalizing the touchback, the people just kicking it out of the end zone. And I think that's great. You have to evolve. What is wrong with things changing to promote health and safety?
I'm going back to my earlier point. The old guard does not like change. People are set in their ways, and it's changed. It's different. Nobody likes it.
I am still hating on Jerome Ford. He is fixed or repaired daily. He's found on road dead.
He doesn't like Harrison Ford either. So
Trigger.
Wait a second. Get off my plane.
there you go. Well, did you watch 1923? Come on.
You know what? I tried to watch it and was bored out of my freaking mind. Anybody watching Mobland? Mobland?
I haven't watched Mobland. No, I watched Tulsa King.
Oh, can't wait for that to come back out for season 3. And
Yeah.
and Mobland is fantastic.
Did you watch Landman? Was the other one
Landman
Land?
is good as well with Billy Bob.
Oh, his ex-wife was a nut job. Holy God.
and the
I'm
daughter.
like,
And the daughter.
oh, they're both crazy. They're both
They
nuttier
are.
than squirrel
I
shit.
will tell
I
you
mean, they're
so.
just like,
Those are my least favorite characters because they annoy me.
yeah. I think that was done on purpose. Now we go to just to let people know, look, we're all in the same boat here. We want the Browns to be successful. We want the Browns to win. And I just made a note. I just made a little notice here. Let me just look up something. Before the Indians moved from when they went to League Park and they went to Municipal Stadium, they basically were playing weekend games at Municipal Stadium for the bigger crowds. But by the 40s, they won one World Series in 48, won one pennant. They were there for years after that, and it was just misery through the. And they might have had a couple good teams in the 60s, 10-cent beer nights, empty stadiums. It was horrible, right?
Yeah. Other than like a fireworks night, some kind of a giveaway, you couldn't give away the tickets. There was nobody there. They'd have those games on Channel 43, WUAB, and there were more Nats than there were fans. It was horrific. The whole place was the old Marlboro Man sign out there in center field.
Oh yeah, and then they brought in the San Diego Chicken to bring in crowds.
Yes, they did. But I will say this. Okay, so query me this: why is it now that the Guardians are winning, yet the stadium isn't full or as full? They don't have the same draw. Is it because back in the mid-90s, during those few years when they really started getting good, there were no Browns?
Yeah, probably.
Good point.
Let me make a point. Since they moved in 1995, 97, 2016, they won American League pennants. 3 pennants. Let's count this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 12 division titles since 1994, including last year. 2 wild card berths. So you're talking 14 playoff postseason appearances with 3 pennants. And they were within a whisker twice of winning a World Series. They should have won at least 2, at least 1 in those 3 pennants. They should have. But they didn't. I'm not saying they should have, would have, could have, but they didn't. But my point being, look at the success getting off from that landfill, that horrible place, and moving. And they're still they moved in. They're no longer playing at Municipal Stadium, and they got to a better place. And it's just all of a sudden, the complete organization changed at that point, because that's when Major League came out in '89, and they were an absolute joke. They were horrendous.
They were. What did they talk about? They put us on the cover of SI in '87, and we proceeded to lose over 100 games.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
They had Joe Carter, Corey Snyder, and Pat Tabler. Julio Franco was off that team, I think. That's when they traded Julio Franco, if I'm not mistaken.
Man, I love Julio.
Yeah, but did you see my point, though? It's just
absolutely.
This could open up so many possibilities for us. Yeah, we don't host playoff games because the team stunk. And the other thing they're not talking about was, how did we get here? This is my last point. How did we get to this point? How did we have the last 25 years be 3 playoff appearances and 4 winning seasons? How did that happen? We got the death penalty in 1996. And how did we get the death penalty? Because of stupid idiot politicians built a brand new place for the Indians, built a brand new place for the Cavs, and told Art Modell to fuck off. That's exactly what they did, while he was paying for that state place that was falling apart.
Right.
Now the way Modell did it, you can argue was wrong, and I'm not defending him. No, but the city of Cleveland is just as culpable for what happened as Art Modell is. And back then in 95, we didn't have the internet. We didn't have podcasters. We didn't have people telling the truth. Back then, we got one side of the story. I started hearing different things later on when I started hearing interviews and podcasts and things. George Voinovich was the governor of Ohio, told Art Modell to move because they couldn't do it. They didn't have the political will to build them a new stadium. So they had to basically put us on pause for 3 years, which is what happened at SMU in '87. And we had to build an expansion roster in 10 months. And we had to build a stadium in 2 years.
Yeah.
It was insane. Yep. And that stadium is emblematic of what the organization was. It was built in a rush. It was not put together right. They had to completely break it down to make it respectable, which was they did that in 2016 to 2017. And that's why we're at where we are now. We could have a 9-win team, 10-win team this year. We could. Doesn't mean we will. But we're going to be better than 3 wins.
I think so. Yeah, absolutely.
But people don't, they tell the story in the middle. They don't talk about how we got here and what the problem was. You have a bunch of idiots downtown running the city of Cleveland that don't know their ass from a hole in the ground and don't understand anything. And now they're trying to save political face. Sorry, Ethan, go ahead.
No, you're right.
That's exactly what happened. And
Yep.
these people are like, we're only
Right.
in Cleveland. We're Cleveland. We don't win anything. Fuck you. Fuck you in the ass. Fuck you.
Yeah, no, I raw, you know,
Well, I don't care. Yeah.
you know,
I would. Oh God, could you imagine me on Ken Carmen's show?
oh, it'd be beautiful.
Oh, me,
Yeah, baby,
sitting,
I like
sitting
it
across
raw.
from Adam the Bull, doing a bunch of just firing off fat jokes at him. So
I think that would be good. You know, Sherry, this will impress you. Are you know, the former president of the RBS won Ellis in Orlando?
Ah, yes, my friend.
Yeah, did you hear the voicemail he left and they played on the really big show after?
No,
Oh, they like, I think he set the record for the number of F-bombs and
did he?
in a voicemail. He went,
thank you, Brian.
Man,
Thank you.
hilarious.
Thank you. And no. This stadium story goes all the way back to '73 when Modell took over the stadium and was paying for it to keep the Indians from moving.
Yeah,
He kept the Indians in town.
and you know what? Let's talk about this. What if in an alternate world, the Indians would have been sold to Steinbrenner
I know.
Whoa.
because he wanted to
he
buy
was-
the team.
He was that close to
Really?
buying the
He's
team.
Clevelander.
Yeah,
He's
no,
from
I know
Bay
where
Village.
he's buried.
He's that close.
He's at Lakeview.
He was
right?
that close to buying the team.
And they're like, nah, and they sold it to somebody else or what, you know, and they,
Yeah, something
Oh,
stupid happened.
man.
Could you imagine? We would have had a new stadium.
Wow, we would have had that. Well, he's the one that makes the Cleveland Art Museum free for everybody. It was a grant that he gave the
Mhm.
Cleveland Art Museum that's still on the books, keeping it open for everybody.
I also hear that he liked calzones.
I do as well.
I saw calzones! Calzones! Costanza! I saw calzones!
Yes.
I can switch to random sitcoms and TV shows, and we can have some jibber jabber about
Oh.
that.
Costanza.
Well, I
What?
mean,
Oh, Costanza! I say Costanza!
oh my god.
gosh, yeah. I can't wait for this season. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward. I just want to have fun watching football. That's really what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
Let's
Well,
look at it that way.
I look at it as I have fun. It's for me. I don't know about. It's about bonding with Jacob.
Aw.
That's right. Since 2013. Yeah, they do. They're the most wins in baseball. Yeah. We have
Yeah.
a good the Indians or Guardians, whatever you want to call them. They're a good organization. It's did you ever see the movie Moneyball? This but Steve Podesta's character was in it. Yeah. With and it was just funny when they actually went to Cleveland and they were trying to get trades for players. And they're like, yeah, no, we're not going to do that. No, we're not going to do it. It was just, but he was, I guess Brad Pitt's character saw that, Shapiro
Bean.
was, what's
Right.
that? Yeah.
He played what? Billy Bean,
Billy Bean. Yeah. Yeah.
and
He
Jonah Hill.
was Dee Podesta, but Dee Podesta hated that because it made
He
him look
was
like
Oh, it was
a portly
pretty
man.
close to what he is. A fool.
a who? Yeah.
Oh, did you say a fool?
A fool.
fool?
Yeah, Jonah Hill. He didn't like it because it was too close to home.
Yeah. Angelina Jolie, quit messaging me. I'm a married man.
Mm.
Oh my
All right.
goodness.
Yeah.
Is it time for the third period yet, Sherry?
I can't talk about what happened right now.
Yeah. We
All
can't
right.
do that. But hey, let's wrap this show up. Is there any final thoughts from you, Ethan?
No.
I love it.
I'm
I
good.
love it.
Thank you so much.
Oh, no. Thanks for coming on. I appreciate it. Sherry, I know you're slightly distracted.
So distracted right now.
Is it
Okay.
Maple Leafs are up 1-0? Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what Mike just posted. Okay.
All right,
All
you
right.
got plenty of time. There's still 11:13 to go. You could be like
Oh,
fourth.
that's an eternity in hockey. Come
yeah,
on.
4/10 of a second. You empty the net.
No
Guys,
empty nets. No empty
Empty
nets. Dear God, please do not say that
So-
in my presence. We shall never empty the net.
Yeah.
The statistics on that are so poor.
Oh,
Dude,
they
it-
are.
No.
I'm
I
not,
want
No
a
empty
giant
nets, no.
person in the net. I want someone to fill the net up. Like,
yeah, put two guys in front of the net. So
no, I just want one person. I want one person who fills
put
the
Ken
entire
Carmen and Adam the Bull in front of the net. Nobody will get through them. So,
Oh, killing
so
me, dude.
I know. Well, I call Ken Carmen the photo negative of Lizzo. So
But she's kind of like smaller, a lot smaller.
yeah,
now,
it doesn't give a
so-
shit. It's still funny. So
Uh-huh.
no. The point I was trying to make was even people talking about when the whole thing happened, when the Browns became the Ravens, when they moved to Baltimore. There's people, national people, that don't know the true story and the whole story to that. There's a lot of people locally that don't know the whole story. And there's so much misinformation about why it was. They just thought, well, yeah, we're always terrible. Like they were said something on Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. We never had 5 winning seasons in a row. Cleveland never did. I was like, really? From 1985 through 1989, okay, that was the last time we did it. Bernie Kosar's rookie year up until the 1989 AFC Championship season, 4 division titles, 1 wild card, 5 winning seasons in a row.
Yep.
So it's happened. We've won championships. We're eight world championships, 18 Hall of Famers, and the only fan base to fight to keep a team and win. That's not happened anywhere else in sports. So they can all, F
Y'all.
off. They can all F off. They all can. I'd be happy. Oh, could you imagine me on Colin Cowherd's show? Like,
That guy.
hey, that's my Colin Cowherd. I just do my hot takes. Oh. See, everybody's so ready to have a hot take, and they have no idea what they're talking about. There's guys on ESPN that are complete morons, like Tenenbaum. Oh my God.
Tannenbaum and Lombardi. How are they talking about anything as if they have a strong enough reputation to be listened to? They're terrible. They were terrible at their jobs. That's why they don't have jobs in the NFL and they're on ESPN. Hey, Rex Ryan, shut up. You shut up with your terrible veneers. Shut up.
Yes.
All right, you big goofy smile on your cat.
Yeah. Always fun, guys. Always fun. Thank you guys for joining us. What did Mike have to say now? Boston, I guess the Celtics are getting their ass whooped.
99-65.
Nice. I'm glad to see it. People, thank you for joining us. I know I went on a rant and I was just going off on things and getting fired up. I do that at times. But to be honest with you, it's just I care. And when you stop caring, you have to worry. There's people that get angry about stuff that they're not controlling. We're going to have a new stadium. What's going to make it go, what's going to make it work versus not making it work is the product on the field. That's what's going to be the difference.
Yep.
And people, if you win, people will come. Plus, it's like I said, let's give it a chance. All we are saying is give it a chance.
Are you
I
gonna
could do a
break
whole
out into
song.
Beatles song?
Oh yeah. Yes. Buzz. Well, I can't sing it because we're getting copyright. Hey, John, they're talking about the songs. So, all right. Hey, guys, thank you for joining us. Ethan, check out his show, Going Nuclear. Was it Wednesdays? And Best
Generally
Doggone
on-
Podcast.
yeah.
Yep. Sherry. We'll be back next week, 9:00, same bad time, same bad channel. So we'll be back. Wait a second before we go. I got a comment here. Gotta hope it's from somebody decent. Yeah.
Yeah, Mike's been
Yeah,
fun.
let's
Thanks
see.
for joining
Yeah.
us tonight, Mike.
We could play in a sandpit. We're winning on the field. All who cares? Yeah, it's true.
Exactly.
Yep. That's 100% true. And what is that? What is
No,
that?
he was saying for all I care,
Mhm.
for all I care.
Mhm.
Bro, I care. Oh, he's correcting. Yeah, I know. You don't have to type too fast, man. We'll get you in. All right. We appreciate all of you. Thank you for joining us. This is the Burning River Browns Talk on the Fanatical Elves Network, a subsidiary of the Fans First Sports Network. Click on the link of the show, the details. It is the Hemisphere Coffee Roasters. Order up some coffee. Tell them Lou sent you. Thank you. And always remember, when the river burns, it burns brown and orange. I will see you later. It's only May and people are arguing with each other. Panther. You got a big panther in your coma there. It's going to get eaten.